Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to a special video today. This is going to be the first of many things we're going to be doing on the miscellaneous things because it took a bit of a U-turn because I had that test and stuff last week, so everything kind of, went
got
in a
derailed.
big U-turn. But I am Owen Finch, and this is
AJ Talent.
And today we made this joke. Today we're going from talking about a mad scientist, pretty much.
Who goes around killing people.
To talking about SpongeBob. What a great
and then after this, we're going to be talking about a mass serial killer killing thousands of people with a notebook.
Yeah, so it's like, what a great transition.
What a great tone shift, right?
No, actually, after this, we'll be talking about Family Guy, which is like,
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I think you mean like full time and stuff, but
yeah.
This is a pretty special video, like, show for us we talked about before, because this is a show we watched, like, a lot when we were a kid, obviously.
Yeah, so a little bit of the nostalgia goggles are on. We're going to try to avoid that, but, like, it's kind of hard. Like,
but we're not going to be those people, too, that, like, try to, like, critique everything, because we also got to remember, like, it's a cartoon, so, like, not everything's going to make sense.
It's, like, not meant to be super serious.
Yeah, so we're gonna balance them both out. So let's see. We might do like really good at it. We might do like really bad at it. So, but we will say we do have some nostalgic with this too, because one of the first like reviews you did was a SpongeBob episode. So
yeah, it was with you. Yeah, forever ago.
Do you remember what episode it was before we started?
It was like the Dream one, right?
Yeah, it was. So it's
I was like 12. Jesus, it feels like so long ago.
When that episode came out, or when we did that video?
No, when we did the video. I was like 5 when the episode came out.
Yeah, were you like 12? Were you really 12? Because it was my senior year of high school.
You're 5 years older than me.
Wow.
So
I was 18.
I was like 12 or 13.
Okay, so there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just made me feel old, bud. Thanks.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah. All right, but how we're gonna do this though is when we ever do the SpongeBob reviews, we're gonna do the same thing as like Breaking Bad, except this time we're gonna do like 4 episodes since they're all like really short. But I haven't talked about this on video yet or like anywhere publicly. Didn't the creator die last year, right? Or was it?
Yeah, Steve Hillenburg, I think was his name, right?
Yeah, it was. He died. I feel like we got to say something about him because I haven't talked about.
He helped shape the childhood. Like this was like something we definitely grew up with.
I think without him, Nickelodeon wouldn't be like this big organization that it really is.
No, SpongeBob was and still is like their big money maker. So
yeah, like once SpongeBob is, we've had this talk before. Once SpongeBob is, but obviously, I think we've debated about it, but I feel like it's different now because Legend of Korra was on then. So, obviously, I think once SpongeBob like completely goes away, like no one will really probably pay much attention to Nickelodeon anymore. Probably
not.
Because it's like the last thing and that really.
Then again, like Fairly Odd Parents just kind of went out with a whimper. Like they're not making any more Fairly Odd Parents, and no one really cared.
Yeah. I feel like though, like SpongeBob, because like more people like have more people watch SpongeBob, I think, than Fairly Odd Parents. I think because it was around longer, and like, for example, my sister's boyfriend remembers more SpongeBob things than he watched Fairly Odd Parents, but he remembers more about SpongeBob because SpongeBob
was the same for like me too. So
yeah,
and I know it's for you because you like love SpongeBob.
Yeah. I don't have anything. I literally I don't because you literally when he would come over my house, it was just before I got into wrestling. It was just SpongeBob
stuff. You had blankets, posters. Yeah. You would always like take my Patrick action figure. I remember.
Yeah, I always wanted to be him. It was.
No, it was great. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We got like the nostalgia on, so it's like. Yeah, these are definitely like fond episodes for us.
Yeah, we had all the not all of them, but most of the video games and stuff, and things like that. But let's review these episodes. So season 2 is like one of the weirdest episodes because the episode numbers don't. So like, for example, like the survival of the idiots episode that we're reviewing comes out before the pre-hibernation week episode.
Right.
Or like episode like 10 comes out before episode like 6 or something. I mean, that's not exactly how it is, but the episodes air out of order, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, actually, you didn't really watch it a whole lot as a kid, but Pokemon had that big problem when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So many episodes were out of order, and it was really confusing.
I mean, the difference though here is like SpongeBob can get away with it because it doesn't follow.
Yeah, it's more like not each episode doesn't really like follow up on the other.
But like Pokemon though, like each episode of Pokemon follow the other? Or is it kind of
a bit episodic? Like you don't need to watch everyone, but like there are a few you need to watch.
But I bet like though, if you watch like if you would watch it live, like there's probably an episode though like you have to see like a certain thing. So if that episode doesn't come out first, then you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, that's kind of what it was.
Yeah. But anyhow, so what we'll do is we're just gonna break down each episode because it's
finally after 10 minutes into the video.
Yeah. So let's start. We're gonna start off first. I already reviewed this episode myself, but we're gonna review it again because it's my YouTube channel and I can do what I want. So
whatever we want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wormy.
And the episode
my brother
came out.
Actually would never let us watch this.
Who did? Who didn't let you watch this?
Liam, my brother.
Oh, yeah.
You know him obviously.
Well, I didn't hear you. I thought you said your mother didn't let you watch it. So.
Oh no. Liam, my younger brother, he would never let us watch this because, the zoom in on like the real life butterfly would like freak him out and like scare him as a little kid.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a little kid, that's probably understandable.
Oh right, he was like 5. So.
Yeah. So this episode came out. This and Patty Hype both, because we're gonna do this all in one, both because they both came out the same day because it's both in one thing.
That's like A and B. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I'm doing it like this is episode 11 to me. Season 2, episode 11. I'm not being that guy that this is episode 5A. No, this is episode 11. So we're not doing red versus blue stuff here. So, but anyhow, this came out February 17th, 2001. So the plot starts off with
2001. Oh my god, I wasn't even 1 yet.
I know. I was like I think I was like 5 probably when this came out, I think.
Yeah.
Like 4, probably about to turn 5. This was in February, so or maybe I can't do the math off the top of my head. So
if this came out in February 2001, I was like 5 months old.
I was like either just probably like in kindergarten or like it could have been in first grade or something. So
wow, oh my god,
I was in the Florida. I think I was actually probably 6 probably because I would have been in first grade when this came out because I was in everyone's just seeing my epic math skills right now, so isn't that great?
I know, right? Owen, you're 4.5 years older than me. If I wasn't even 1 yet, what does that make you?
Yeah, so
4.5 plus a half equals
tied today. So I'm not doing. And I don't have to take any more math classes, so I'm not doing any more math.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, lucky! I'm still taking one.
Yeah. But anyhow, episode though starts off. We find out that Sandy is going away to Texas. They don't really tell us what she's going. I think going away for. So she could have. Maybe she was just going to hang out. We don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
She could have been, leaving and just planning never to come back. So. We don't know what she.
By the way, I always love on like SpongeBob episodes like where they talk about like the surface world. Like I love the episode where they actually go on land on that like island that you see in the opening.
Because which we haven't gotten to that episode yet, so I can't wait.
Right, it's just something I thought I'd point out. So like stuff like this where like they talk about like the surface was really interesting.
Yeah, and I have actually like a fan theory. That like Sandy's used as like a science project to see how like she would interact with like because if you go to see how she would interact with like the sea creatures and stuff because it actually makes sense because she's the one that's there with all the science equipment and
Yeah.
they have it like enclosed in like a what they call it, a tree dome, but it's like an incubator type of thing. So,
Oh, yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, I'm probably going a little far fetched, but it makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's fine.
But
It's all fun.
yeah. Oh great. Okay, so you were freezing on me because you know how Skype is sometimes. So,
Hey, it's fine.
but yes, we find out Sandy's going away to Texas. Maybe she's gonna go give him test results about how she's doing in to the scientists about maybe Walter White's
Yeah.
too, the scientist.
Sandy's Illuminati confirmed.
Maybe Walter White's the scientist too.
I can see it. He wants
even,
to see how the sea creatures react to his blue meth.
even though this is like 2001, so it wouldn't
Yeah,
really
this
work.
came out like 8 years before Breaking Bad, but whatever. They really planned it out.
Yeah. So SpongeBob and Patrick are gonna be pet sitting, and I like and also too, they even tell us that like they have a narrator that will occasionally tell us about this stuff. Because we'll see him from like time to time. I don't know if this narrator's still alive. Because I don't think I've heard him in like the recent episodes, but I don't really watch the recent episodes as much because I don't watch Nickelodeon. So, yeah, he says that they're pet sitting, and obviously they have like the funny joke where Patrick, because he's the stupid one on the show, says pet sitting, won't that hurt them? Which was I thought a funny joke at the time. So, Sandy has like thousands of pets. Like she has a freaking snake.
SpongeBob and Patrick are just like confused by him. Because like they haven't really seen any of these surface animals.
Which makes sense, they haven't seen like a snake, which
And it's weird that like these animals don't talk, but the sea ones do. I thought that was kind
of and somehow Sandy can talk, so they didn't really.
Yeah, so it's like a weird like what's the line here?
It's kind of weird though, like too. They've never seen like a snake before though, because they have underwater snakes exist. So.
But I don't think out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, true. But yeah, they have they do a funny bit where Patrick is like trying to communicate with the bird, and SpongeBob's like, I didn't know you spoke bird, and Patrick says, no, that's Italian, SpongeBob. So I thought that was funny. Yeah. But basically, she just shows them how to feed each of her pets. And they even do the joke too, where the narrator even like knows this is a bad idea for like SpongeBob and Patrick to babysit the pets because instantly in your head like there's something's gonna go on. So
it wouldn't be much of an episode if it didn't.
Yeah. So she shows them how to feed each one. They do a funny bit with like each of them, like of what they eat for food, because like SpongeBob and Patrick, this was like before too, like. While SpongeBob and Patrick weren't the brightest people, this was before, like, it's, like, full-on, like, they don't have a brain. Like, at least you could see SpongeBob was at least, like, somewhat smart in this episode. Like,
well, smart, maybe, like, has some brain cells,
Yeah. Patrick never had any, but if you think about it, Patrick's probably gotten dumber with within the newer seasons, probably, so.
Yeah. Here he was, like, strangely smart. Like, he was smart at weird times and insane.
Yeah.
Kind of like Caboose in Red vs. Blue, which you're not that far in, and it'll make more sense later.
Yeah. So, they find Wormy, which is the name of this episode, so that ties in.
Roll credits.
Yeah. And Sandy doesn't really, she's like, because SpongeBob's even asking, like, you forgot about this pet, and Sandy's even like, oh, that's only Wormy. He doesn't eat much. Like, she was going to let one of her pets die. Like,
I know, right?
So,
although it's a worm, like, and it's underwater, what can she really feed it?
Yeah. So, SpongeBob and Patrick are fascinated by Wormy, because I don't think they've ever seen, like, a worm, really, like, like that. So, they take him out to play. They do, like, a big montage. But if you watch this montage, it's kind of funny, because it's only, like, one thing they show. Like, them just having that one game of hide and seek, if you think about it. So, like throwing the flowers down, just basically it was just getting the audience like the notion that they were all like the best of friends.
Well, when's Wormy get his own spin-off show is what I'm wondering.
Yeah, we haven't seen him Wormy since then.
I know, right? There's got to be a story behind that, a tragic backstory behind Wormy.
Yeah. So SpongeBob and Patrick, the day's over, so they have to go home and go to bed. Which, if you think about it, they could have just stayed at the house because it's not like Sandy's not going to say anything about it. But, I mean, I guess SpongeBob has to feed Gary, so. And SpongeBob's probably like, I don't want Patrick staying here all by himself. So,
exactly. Like SpongeBob comes back and Patrick's like burnt the place down.
Yeah, it's happened before too. Not in a later episode, I think. Yeah. So, they'll upset the day's over. But SpongeBob's trying to find encouragement, saying that it's only till tomorrow. But then something happens overnight. What happens overnight, AJ? You could talk about what happens.
Wormy goes into a cocoon and becomes a beautiful butterfly, which, by the way, does not take that. It's not that quick. My first grade class had a bunch of pet worms that became cocoons, and they were in there for like months.
Yeah. Maybe he's like a super
worm, yeah. Sandy's like experimenting on him.
Yeah. So, the next day, Patrick and SpongeBob are like psyched that they get to go see Wormy. So, SpongeBob and Patrick are like, are all happy about it, but then when they see that Wormy's the butterfly, they're like confused about it. And I actually think this ties in. Yeah. And that actually makes sense because I don't think they've really known like any creature that like evolves like that. Right.
I can't think of anything that like goes through a metamorphosis.
Yeah.
Getting fancy with the words.
Like the closest I could think of is like like Mr. Krabs, like when he outgrows his shell, like he becomes.
Yeah, and even they were like confused by that in a later episode.
Yeah. But what ties in is SpongeBob and Patrick give Wormy, like before he turned into the butterfly, like the best friend ribbon, and that ties in because Wormy like leaves it behind when he turns into the butterfly.
That, the butterfly killed Wormy in an epic battle.
Yeah. Well, imagine that epic battle. I don't think Wormy wasn't winning that battle, so and I bet
Wormy put up a fight.
Yeah. So then Wormy, the butterfly version of him, like he's probably too like confused, like why is SpongeBob and Patrick are afraid of him because they don't know it's not him. So, so yeah, but when they see like as you talk about like Wormy, it actually like shows like footage of like a real butterfly that they found probably.
Yeah, like zooms in real quick and it like shows like why they're terrified of him.
Yeah. So SpongeBob and Patrick are afraid of it. So like they said, this is when they kind of think that like SpongeBob and Patrick where the butterfly, what's they call the monster, kills Wormy. So they want to do something about. Well, at first they try to leave, but the butterfly, the monster's blocking the exits. But they don't know they can just go right by it because
right. They don't know like it's just a stupid butterfly.
Yeah. And SpongeBob and Patrick get worried. Actually, they do a funny bit where like SpongeBob's telling Patrick they have to stick together, and I guess Patrick just abandoned SpongeBob because he don't.
Yeah,
like,
that was pretty funny.
You see the monster there, and like SpongeBob runs into like a barrel, and I guess Patrick's
already there, just chilling.
Yeah, and he doesn't even know he's there. SpongeBob's like, Patrick, you're alive. He's like, I am. I guess he thought he died or something. Like,
man, Hal looks a lot different than I thought it would.
Yeah. So like SpongeBob and Patrick realize they have to do something to get rid of the monster before it eats Sandy's other pets or Sandy. Which that's they think anyways. So they try like various traps. They try to like have like a phone set up like in a jar so that way they can catch it, but it didn't work. They try to like make Patrick look tasty, and Patrick gets afraid before SpongeBob gets the net. And he runs through the net, hits the tree, and like a bunch of like Sandy's acorns like fall into his water helmet. And I think like there was still enough water where Patrick could like breathe, so that's why like he wasn't like suffocating for air. So, then SpongeBob when he's about to get eaten by the monster, SpongeBob uses his bubble, blows it, and like the monster gets trapped in the bubble like the rest of the episode, which that doesn't make any sense because they do like an episode that ties in like how SpongeBob could never build like a bubble, not blow a bubble that lasts forever. Apparently he did because this bubble like lasted like the whole rest of the episode.
Exactly. So like the whole city got destroyed, so at least like a couple days.
Yeah. So they finally get the monster out. They're all happy about it. But I'll let you, because you haven't been able to talk much. What happens though with the monster?
Oh, the monster is in an air bubble and starts flying around the city, and everyone starts like freaking out. And really, they destroy the city by themselves.
Yeah,
Crashing into buildings and just running away in fear.
Because first they go to the Krusty Krab, and they try to warn Squidward and Mr. Krabs about it. And when Squidward and Mr. Krabs like see what it is, at first they like think SpongeBob and Patrick are just being wimps. So they make fun of them for it. And then when they see like the monster, yeah, they get scared and I guess they run away. But SpongeBob and Patrick thinks that it ate them. So then then that's when
fast like their clothes came off or something.
Yeah,
and they're like, oh my god, like it ate them.
It's like that cartoon thing where like you'll see like somebody like run away and somehow like I guess they just take their clothes off in real life, like when like
it's like they run so fast they leave like a dust trail or something. It's like
so then this is like what leads to like the monster like destroying the rest of the city, where SpongeBob and Patrick warn everybody about it, and that becomes like a big montage. That's basically the rest of the episode. Which is funny. They do like a funny bit where SpongeBob and Patrick say, just think about what would have happened if we didn't tell everybody about the monster. And you see like the city like getting destroyed behind them in the background. Like
they think they saved the day when really they just doomed everyone.
Yeah. So then like Sandy finally comes back and she sees like the city's destroyed. So she's like, what the hell happened here? And then she sees the monster, which she realizes is Wormy. So she puts him in a jar, and everybody's all happy that Sandy caught the monster, and Sandy doesn't really know what's going on, so she just thinks everyone's like missed her and like threw her like a surprise party. So that was how the episode ended. But I actually thought it's a great nostalgic trip, and I actually thought it was a great episode. Like it was
even like without the nostalgia, it's just a funny episode.
Yeah, I give it an A-. What would you give it?
I give it an A- too, maybe a B+.
Yeah. Probably if I probably watch this episode, actually it's still funny even if you watch it as an adult because it's just so crazy in a way.
Out there, yeah.
Yeah. But now I'll let you kind of mainly break down the next episode, the Patty Hype episode.
Okay. Well, I don't really remember how it starts, so can you start with that?
Yeah. So basically, Mr. Krabs, Squidward, and SpongeBob haven't. This is now just mainly focused on the Krusty Krab storyline. So, they haven't had like a customer, and I think they said like over a month. Which in real life,
still in business, but whatever.
Yeah, because like, I don't think if you haven't had a customer in a month, I think you're out of business. Yeah. But maybe but if Plankton could still stay in business, then
I know he's never had anyone there like canonically.
Yeah. And I actually like the bit they did where they had like someone that's like hasn't had food for 3 days, like won't even eat there. Yeah,
it's like look at this atmosphere. What is it? Underwater?
It's boring. Like it made like even though like we could say it doesn't make sense, it made sense because it was to show like not even someone that's starving to death will eat there.
Yeah.
So
well, of course it doesn't need to make sense. Obviously, it's
I just think the writers wanted to make us wanted to show like not even someone that's starving to death is going to eat at the Krusty Krab.
Yeah.
So
I thought that was really funny.
Yeah. So they even Mr. Krabs realizes what he needs is a gimmick because like another restaurant had like a talking dog, and obviously that's going to be fascinating to the fish because they've never seen a dog.
Yeah, actually, someone mentioned like, hey, they have a talking dog, and someone was like, "What's a dog?" I don't know. Find out.
Yeah. So
that was kind of like another joke, like, hey, they're underwater. They don't really know what that is.
Yeah. So Mr. Krabs comes up with the idea that he's going to bury himself alive, basically, just so that way everyone will eat there. But when that talking dog started singing, though, that was the end of the Krusty Krab.
No one cared. They all just left.
Yeah. So Mr. Krabs probably, like, could have died under there and no one would have cared. So, but then SpongeBob was there, though. What a loyal employee he was that day. So, Then SpongeBob has an idea. You want to mention what SpongeBob's idea is?
Colored Krabby Patties, and then Squidward and Mr. Krabs. I thought this part was really funny. They just started ripping him to shreds. Like,
Yeah.
it's pretty great.
He calls them pretty patties though, not colored. I think they called it this episode. They were probably thinking about calling it colored Krabby Patties, but they realized like it probably would have been.
It's alliterations of pre patties. I gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, SpongeBob gets upset and he storms out saying he'll make his own business.
Yeah.
So he meets up with Patrick, and Patrick is also upset because he can't see his own forehead.
Another like funny,
which is just such like a random thing, but I love it.
Yeah. So then he has an idea of inflatable pants, which is actually a pretty good. Like that's like one of those moments where like Patrick has like his stupid smart moment. That was actually a pretty good idea. So then SpongeBob says, but then when SpongeBob throws out how he's gonna open a restaurant, sell pretty patties, Patrick's just like, yeah, forget my dumb idea. That's a great idea. Like, even though Patrick's idea was probably better if you think about it. So,
probably. I would buy inflatable pants.
Yeah. So, and they do like a running joke, like because at first like SpongeBob's restaurant doesn't. Now we should say like it's really not a restaurant. Like it's like as if you were gonna have like a lemonade stand. How it was set up pretty much. So there's a specific reason why SpongeBob didn't have customers at first, because it's not like he didn't advertise it very well. So, Patrick like goes inside SpongeBob.
Also, it's just like a stand on the side of the road. You wouldn't take your family to eat there.
Yeah. So Patrick like goes inside SpongeBob's like head. Because they do like a funny bit where he says sometimes you have to dig deep inside yourself to solve our problems. So the funny bit was, because this is a cartoon,
he climbs inside of SpongeBob, not like that, just in a comedic way. Relax fan fictions.
Yeah, but his inflatable plans like inflate. So when Patrick gets out, I guess he forgot he went in there because he just because he's so stupid. So. Then a customer finally shows up, and I noticed one thing. The guy would ask if he sells food. If you're gonna like sell anyone on your product, SpongeBob shouldn't show that green Krabby Patty first, because that's what like gets everyone laughing. Because having something green's not the best idea, because that's I mean,
no, I don't really like green things.
Yeah, but when he sees like purple, which is his favorite color, when he tastes it, he thinks it's like he says it's the greatest idea ever. So this is basically when SpongeBob's business picks up. Mr. Krabs like sees it on TV, and I guess obviously Mr. Krabs still hasn't had any customers. They do like I like the effect where he had like spider webs all over, because that's like the effect like it looks
completely deserted. SpongeBob has like crowds of people,
and when he hears like all the money that SpongeBob is making, and SpongeBob, and they do a funny bit where like SpongeBob and Patrick like didn't know what to do with it, like they burned it, they shredded it. Can you imagine Walter White like goes into the meth business and he just doesn't know what to do with all? I mean, because that's what
I could see him doing that actually.
I mean, he tried burning his money at one point. So
yeah, but that was less for comedy, more of like
seriousness.
Yeah, I get like towards the end where like he quits because he's so bored of it. I can imagine him just like burning some of it, just like, all right, I got too much of it.
But they're just giving the money away. So this piques obviously Mr. Krabs' interest, because his gimmick is that he like loves money. Like he'll literally die, because he almost did die for money. He buried himself alive. So when he realizes how much of a big success that SpongeBob's restaurant is, what he pretty much does is this was a dick move. He basically convinces SpongeBob, manipulates. That's what I was into, giving him his business for Mr. Krabs' business. Which, can you imagine? You could just do that. You could just trade companies, because it doesn't really work like that.
Hey, Bill Gates, can I just have your company? Sure, why not?
Yeah, they just trade. Which that was like a shitty move though by Mr. Krabs. But that was kind of the point.
Oh, this is also another way, like none of these episodes are like related to each other because like obviously like Mr. Krabs has the Krusty Krab in every other episode.
Yeah. You know, yeah, because he doesn't even get it back by the end of this episode. And
he takes over SpongeBob's business, and he gets it just in time to realize that the colored paints everyone's tongues.
Yeah, it basically well, you know, there's some flaws with the you know, I can't think of the word, but you know, it has some side effects. That's what I was thinking. So you know, SpongeBob's so happy that he has the Krusty Krab, which it would have been funny if, like, once that I actually kind of wish that what they would have done instead is instead of like Mr. Krabs' like business like being a failure, like once SpongeBob got a hold of the Krusty Krab, then people started coming in. That would have been hilarious. Like,
yeah, that'd been pretty great.
But
the thing that gets SpongeBob like to want the Krusty Krab is the pickles. So
yeah,
because all he really wants.
There's like a squeaky sound, I guess, apparently that they make if you rub them together, which probably isn't like the a good, you know, move like company thing.
Yeah, probably not.
And you know, like Mr. Krabs is like running away from everybody, and he doesn't have his key because he gave it to SpongeBob. So he's basically like and the episode ends with like him running away from anybody as SpongeBob's like squeaking.
So I guess Mr. Krabs just dies at the end. You know, whatever.
Yeah. Well, you know, we don't. I kind of like that they kind of left you because, I mean, it left you with a cliffhanger, but you know nothing's gonna happen. But it kind of left you with like the figment of imagination, like what happened to Mr. Krabs at the end of this episode, like.
Brutally murdered is what I like to think.
Yeah. As SpongeBob, and then SpongeBob like comes out and sees that Mr. Krabs is like brutally murdered. Is like, and he's like, "What the hell happened to you?" Like, But yeah, I thought this was a great episode, though. I'll give it a B+. Like I said, another nice nostalgia trip, but it's also a great episode because it just shows like it was nice for like SpongeBob to branch out on his own and do his own thing as like a restaurant, and it was just, you know, I liked it. What would you think of it?
I give it like a B+. It was just a very funny episode, and you know, not a whole lot to it. Just kind of straightforward.
Yeah. But then we have probably the best episode out of the 4 that we're gonna review.
Hibernation. Yeah, this one's pretty great.
The Survival of the Idiots, it's called. And then this is a pun because they typically call it the Survival of the Fittest because it's like, you know, like it's a biology.
Idiots surviving, yeah.
Yeah. And these 2 episodes that dumped in this episode came out on March 5th, 2001. And this episode starts off with and this, like I said, this is like where that weird one, because they're gonna dedicate an episode later on called Pre-Hibernation Week. So if you watch this episode first, you'd be confused. But like I said, because SpongeBob isn't episodically, it gets away with it. So they're all pumped to go to Sandy's house. But you know, there's a sign that says "Keep Out." They go in anyways, though, because you know SpongeBob and Patrick, they're not gonna, they don't believe in signs. So.
They don't believe in personal boundary, yeah.
I believe that was a joke at one point, and not in this episode, but probably a different episode, where they talk about how they don't believe in science, but I might be thinking of a different episode. And we find out that Sandy's hibernating, which, you know, that's also wrong, too, because I recently learned that squirrels don't hibernate, so that doesn't make any sense, but, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they do, like, bulk up for the winter, so.
Yeah. But they don't like physically like hibernate like Sandy does.
Yeah, not like bears. I gotcha.
And she says that, which this fact probably is true, that like, you know, animals that are hibernated don't like to be woken up.
So yeah, they're going into it. Do you like being woken up in the middle of your nap?
So they say
they're sleeping for 3 months and getting woken up.
So they tell everyone to keep out, but she especially says SpongeBob. Like, she basically says, like, this is why she made this video, was for SpongeBob.
Because, like, she knew SpongeBob was going to come in and screw it up.
Yeah. I mean, if she should have made this video for anybody, though, it was for Patrick. Because then SpongeBob was like, yeah, we're not supposed to be here, Patrick. And Patrick's just like, you know, what are you going to learn?
I know, right? I feel like everyone blames SpongeBob, but really it's kind of all Patrick.
Yeah. Because Patrick even says, what are you going to learn, SpongeBob? No means yes. Which, you know, don't... If you say, which, you know, that means a lot of things now, because they use that joke a lot with...
You always get consent, fellas.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a feeling too. Like, if Patrick,
that one is a bit different nowadays.
if Patrick got arrested for raping somebody,
Okay, we're not gonna
yeah,
get into that. We're not.
okay.
Ugh.
But then they open the door and they see snow, and they've never seen snow before, even though they dedicate an episode like in the next season where it's all snow.
Yeah, they
So,
love snow, and it's like.
so I guess it did. I guess it never snowed
I always think of like each episode as like a totally different universe. Just roll with it.
Yeah. So they've never seen snow before, and they do a funny bit where Patrick like says this like inspirational words, like as if like he's like this great writer. You could probably like find, like, but he's just reading it off a candy bar. You could probably like, I think it's like a huge meme nowadays.
Like
right?
it's a winter wonderland of beauty and whatever. And SpongeBob's like, wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
and he's
but
like,
he's
just reading this off this candy bar.
Yeah, it's like one of those like stupid funny moments. You would have just see like in SpongeBob. You would probably see this like
you chuckle even like as an adult, like
because yeah, it was just and I have a feeling too like that poem's probably like a legitimate poem too. I wouldn't
probably
like you could probably like find it like in a book. That would be funny if that was one of Walt Whitman's books.
Yeah.
Cause that would make
I can imagine it's like some great philosopher that no one's ever heard of.
Yeah. But when SpongeBob like reads the candy wrapper, he sees that Patrick has his helmet off. And they dedicated that episode to like where they can't take their helmets off in Sandy's house because it's air. But since like snow is technically water, they're safe because
which is weird because it's like you would need a like snow constantly falling to like be able to breathe. But, whatever, roll with it. It's a cartoon.
Yeah. And then they have fun having like a snowball fight. No, snowball. That's later. They just they're having fun in the snow, and they overhear someone snoring, which was Sandy. So they go in and they see like if you've ever seen an animal hibernate, that's basically what Sandy is. She's like all fat now because she's eating for the winter. And she's like having dreams, which this ties in because she's like dreaming about Texas Outlaws, what they call Dirty Dan and Pinhead Larry, which Dirty Dan's a dirty joke now. That's like what they use for to smoke like it's like a Bond pretty much. That's a type of one, I believe. Because I was looking it up to see like if they were like real people, but when you look at stuff up on the internet, sometimes you gotta be careful with what you're gonna get for answers.
Apparently.
So, they make fun of Sandy too because they're like talking to her and she's like getting it in her dreams and stuff. So then they even make fun of her some more, saying how they talk about how SpongeBob says we shouldn't disturb her anymore, and Patrick like turns his back and to like his face and. They do like a funny pun where he says, "My name's Patback." So this causes like them to laugh, and this causes Sandy to wake up, and this is why you don't wake up a freaking animal in hibernation because Sandy was not
ready to kill him.
Yeah, because she's like still like she's like daydreaming, I think too, because it's not like she's like fully awake because she doesn't realize it's SpongeBob and Patrick because she calls them like Dirty Dan and Pit.
He thinks she's still dreaming. Yeah.
So. She just eventually like falls back to sleep, and SpongeBob and Patrick are even like, yeah, we don't want to wake her up again after that. Like, so they put earplugs on her that's made out of Patrick's belly button lint.
Which is gross, but whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
Patrick's really funny in this episode, though. I will say.
Yeah.
Patrick can come off as kind of annoying, but I like him in this one.
Yeah, and they even make fun of her by like doing like a bunch of loud noises. At us because she can't hear them. And then you want to talk about the next scene, the snowball fight, because that's when when the Dirty Dan stuff really takes effect.
So they start pretending to be like the outlaw Sandy was dreaming of. They have the whole meme where Patrick's like, "Who are you calling Pinhead?"
Yeah, and
they start fighting over who's Dirty Dan, and because they keep hitting each other so hard, the lint falls out and Sandy wakes up. And
which that's also like a memorable quote from SpongeBob. I'm Dirty Dan now too. But yeah, continue.
So Sandy wakes up and gets ready to murderize them.
Yeah. Because she asked.
They tried to leave, but the door's frozen.
Yeah, that wasn't until later, but
Okay,
well. Sandy asks who the real dirty Dan is, and because she like rips Patrick's like head off pretty much. I don't know.
It's just a little brutal.
Yeah, and like throws him up again. That would never happen today. I don't think in SpongeBob. They would probably say, "Ah, it's still."
It's like still pretty cartoony. It's not like there's like blood and guts everywhere.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, they wouldn't even, like, say that. They probably would say that's too brutal now. Like, kids can't see, like, someone's head getting ripped off like that. So,
okay,
like...
well, when you word it like that, then yeah.
Yeah. Sandy, like throws Patrick and he, gets knocked out because he goes... He hits his, like, head on the tree. SpongeBob runs away from her, but he didn't really have a good strategy because he was freaking running on an exercise wheel. Great strategy there, SpongeBob. Like,
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
And then he falls like through
and he just beats the shit out of SpongeBob and Patrick a lot.
Yeah. And then I guess they die. I guess she puts a tombstone grave over them that says Pinhead Larry and
Yeah. So like it just makes it seem like they died.
Yeah.
But, hey, they have 3 lives. They respawn.
Yeah. So this is when they try to leave, but this is when they realize they can't leave because the lock's frozen. So Patrick tries to get the lock unfrozen by just saying "Open Sesame," but that's all he can do. So and then they're freezing to death. SpongeBob's freezing so much that his nose dripping. He can use his chopsticks, and Patrick's just freezing so much because he's shivering. Because he can't come up with anything else. So
he's too cold to come up with that, yeah.
So they're like, what's that make sense? Like, when you get that cold, like, your brain, you don't really think as well. So, so they're trying to figure out, like, how Sandy, can survive these winters. And, they realize it's a fur, which obviously that was very obvious. So, they basically, like, steal Sandy's fur. You want to talk about that scene?
Yeah, so they pluck like one hair and like she screams.
Yeah.
And Patrick just decides like screw it, I'm not waiting here forever. Grabs a thing of tape and rips a bunch of hair off, and she just screams like she did before. So
yeah, okay,
they basically take all of her hair, which is really messed up, but I love it.
Yeah, and the best part about it is they even say, "I'm ready for the longest, coldest winter ever," and then it becomes spring right after. I like
how they're like prepared to be there for like a month. Like they weren't expecting to leave anytime soon.
No, it's not like they could if they wanted to, too. So
yeah, but it's like poor Gary probably would have starved to death.
Yeah, and then when they see it spring though, and they see Sandy get up,
and then they immediately realize like, oh crap.
Yeah, with the lock still frozen, and by the time they get it unfrozen, Sandy sees them, and sees like
she notices the fur on them, and then she looks and she sees she's completely furless.
Yeah, so then this is like they thought they were scared of Sandy before. I think I would have been more scared of Sandy now because she's actually like gonna hurt them like willingly this time, like.
Yeah, like she's not like out of it. Like she just wants to hurt them.
Yeah.
And then she does by making them her new fur until it grows back.
Yeah, that was this episode
was pretty funny.
I think this is the best episode of the 2 seasons thus far.
Oh yeah.
This episode gets an A. This episode gets an A+. I think like there's nothing.
Deserves it. Very funny. Memorable.
MVP of the episode was definitely Patrick too. Like he was
definitely.
And then we have
honestly my least favorite out of these 4 is the next one.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad or anything. It's just my least.
Yeah, just comparatively.
So I guess we find out they apparently got out of Sandy's house because they were here. So
again, just every episode's a different universe role.
Yeah. So SpongeBob and Gary are playing hide and seek. I think it's like hide go seek tag. Remember that game? They came up with like a ton of different versions of tag, like TV tag, hide and go seek tag, like.
Oh yeah, God, freaking a billion of them.
I don't even think does anyone even play tag anymore? I never even see people lose.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure like little kids do.
yeah, not like I'm around little
But we used
kids
to play
every day.
TV tag a lot as a kid.
Yeah. Um, and then Patrick comes up, and Gary won't leave like Patrick's side. We find out why at the end of the episode. Um, and
SpongeBob gets jealous because he just kind of like assumes that like Gary likes Patrick.
yeah, but they laugh about it like the whole night, like the whole day. It turns night, and SpongeBob lets Patrick sleep over, and at first he thinks nothing of it, but then you started noticing something like no matter what SpongeBob tries to do, Gary pretty much just doesn't give a crap. So SpongeBob gets sick of it, so he's just gonna take Gary home. And this is like where Patrick came off kind of unlikable, and this is probably in this episode, which you can't hate Patrick for because he's trying to think of Gary's best interest. But if you watch it, like,
not really, I think he's just like he likes the attention. So
yeah, so he says let Gary choose, and SpongeBob tries to remind him like he's basically like raised Gary, his whole life. Because that
Gary's
wasn't
kind of messed up one here because he's choosing Patrick over like the stupidest thing.
Yeah, so yeah, he picks Patrick. So SpongeBob's upset, but then says that he's just gonna get a new pet. So he first
like the joke is it's like Gary's like a girlfriend basically.
Yeah, that's the joke. That's the joke. Which I thought this episode's like pretty relatable because this is probably what a lot of people go through, like if they're in like a relationship or something.
Yeah.
So that's
not exactly like this, but yeah.
Yeah. But I can believe like if a girlfriend like picked another guy over you, you wouldn't react like obviously like SpongeBob's probably reacting and stuff, but
maybe like you'd be really offended and be like, fine, I'll get someone else and that type.
And that's what happens. Like first SpongeBob gets a worm, and we find out in like Bikini Bottom, like their universe, like worms are like Gary's a snail. He's like it's like as if he's a cat, so worms are like as if he's a dog. And his name is like Rex.
So it's weird that like they were mesmerized by that like tiny little worm, and now here it's like they have pet worms that are the size of you.
Yeah, and they've run it, and basically like the only reason SpongeBob got like the worm was to make Gary jealous, which didn't work. And Rex doesn't like SpongeBob, so he like packs his stuff and leaves. But that was a funny scene. Because it was like right after he's like, I was more my type of pet, so trusting, so loyal, always by my side. And you see then like him like leave right afterwards, like. And then
he
this
gets,
is like
a mean snail like as a replacement, and the snail hates him.
Yeah, and he calls the snail Larry. So obviously we could just see he was just trying to find him a place.
Larry the lobster is SpongeBob's pet now.
Yeah. So you could just see like he was trying to like clearly replace him with Gary, but like Larry's like mean, like, and like, well, what the hell, like, there was no reason Larry had to be like this mean, like,
No, right? Well, it's like some cats are just mean.
Yeah. So that's how Larry was.
Personally.
So SpongeBob pretty much realizes that he can't replace Gary. So he starts getting like really upset, and Patrick and Gary come over to do laundry, and SpongeBob's like trying to have like a normal conversation, but he just finally like lets it all out, and even Patrick even goes, "Oh, here it comes," like kind of being like that was like kind of being unlikable right there, like.
Yeah, it's funny how Patrick went from like the best character last episode to the worst one this one.
Yeah, so Patrick tries to talk to SpongeBob by saying like like it's about what Gary wants, and what Gary wants is me. But as we see Patrick's like taking his shorts off, and SpongeBob's I guess like dishwasher too is just I just freaking had the name of it in one of the episodes. It's just like a log, not a log, but like a cat, like a barrel. That's what I'm thinking of. Like it's just a barrel with probably like a motor on it. So like it's like the old school how they used to do laundry. So SpongeBob keeps it old school, I guess. So But we realized that the reason why Gary was being so close with Patrick. You want to tell him why?
Because he had food in his pocket. I don't remember what food exactly. It was like a candy bar, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so pretty much how animals are.
Yeah.
They're loving and your best friend, and then someone has food and they ditch you.
So I guess once Gary got what he wanted, he wanted SpongeBob again, and like SpongeBob's like, all happy about it, and then the joke now is like Patrick's probably what's gonna happen now is like Patrick was gonna be the one all upset at the end now, like try to replace Gary now and stuff, and I guess Larry too Larry would just disappear. He just ran away, like
Larry and Wormy should get their own team up show.
Yeah. I don't know what you call it, the pets that hate SpongeBob or something, apparently. And like the whole goal was to take down SpongeBob.
That'd be pretty great. I'd watch it.
Yeah, this is a good episode. I'll give it like a B-.
B-, C+.
It was pretty this episode was definitely more straightforward than the other three were, I think.
I don't know, I feel like the Pretty Patties one was more straightforward.
Yeah.
Like it was simple but good. This was just simple.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess my favorite one out of the four was definitely the Survival of the Idiots one. Like
which is something you both agree on. Yeah.
It might be like we have to probably do like a best SpongeBob like episodes one day probably.
I mean, there's a lot of them, so yeah, that may take a while.
Yeah. We have to review them all first, and it's still the show's still going too. So
I know, right? So I mean, we'll probably get around to that when we're like 50.
Yeah. If YouTube's even a thing by the time we're 50.
I mean, it could be like MySpace. We just upload videos here, even though no one uses it.
Yeah. But that's basically it. We really have nothing left to talk about. So yeah, this is probably one of the most like simple, straightforward videos we've ever made. This is definitely better than that.
Still made it super long somehow, but whatever.
This is definitely better than the. The funny thing is, this is better than that Negotiator review we made. That
one wasn't our best work.
No, I feel like we I don't know what. It's not like the movie was bad too. We just kind of like.
We're just tired and kind of wanted to get through it.
Yeah, because think about how we're gonna do when it comes to like reviewing a bad movie. We're just gonna be like, yeah, let's just get right through this. Anyhow, yeah, that's basically it. We have some. We're about to make another video right after this. Back to Breaking Bad too. Did Walter White win? So, that video would be more complex and stuff like that. So
yeah, it shouldn't be too long though. It's fairly simple. We pretty much agree on what we think.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. Is there anything you want to plug or promote?
Nothing really.
You guys are giving up on that YouTube channel, huh?
But when I upload a video, we'll think about it.
Well, go on the CM Brothers channel, and you want to see something funny? Go watch AJ's Hot Sauce Challenge.
God. Spoilers, I threw up.
Yeah, that needs to be... I actually should have put a warning throw up in there, but it's not like they can see it, so,
Yeah, I was off screen, I think.
Yeah. Also, check out, this channel. We're going to be uploading some Movie Monday reviews, Family Guy reviews tomorrow, so... And
Definitely we'll be starting up on CM Brothers, right?
Yeah.
Check out that next week if you like Death Note.
Yep, so that's pretty much it, guys, and we will talk to you guys later.
Peace.